What's up, everybody? I am Dom of X, comicreleases.com associate editor. It's time to get into the DC Solicits, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to kick it off by talking about the brand new DC event that is coming to your stores or wherever you pick up your comics this October, and that is none other than DC K.O, which is a co-written event by current Absolute Universe curator Scott Snyder, who's on Absolute Batman, of course, and Joshua Williamson, who has been penning Superman and has also fledgedly been the push and person for DC Comics, at least for the mainline universe, for the last 4 years. So this should be a fun one. We have the first issue here, which has art by none other than Javi Fernandez. At least the cover for it has not been provided yet by DC, but we do have plenty of variants. This is going to go over what has been the main storyline, if you will, for essentially the regular DC universe after the events of All In. What has been happening with Apocalypse? If you haven't been reading New Gods or anything else of the sort, prepare for the return of Darkseid. Here are the covers. The main one, or not one of the main ones, but we have a bracket cover illustrated by Dan Mora. This is not the finalized one yet. We have another cover by Dan Mora, which is an AEW cameo variant. We have a Daniel Warren Johnson variant, and the next one we do have one by Ben Oliver, and then another one by Frank Cho featuring, of course, Power Girl and Diana. A Jim Lee sketch from 2020 turned into an actual variant with colors by Alex Sinclair. Continuing on, we also have a variant from Scott Koblish, which is a wraparound variant, another one of these Mark Spears variants, and then another Nubovich variant as well, who has been doing some covers on Action Comics. Justice League, the Omega Act. This is very interesting because we got Yasmin Putri on the interiors for this one. This is also the prologue to the entire event, so if you are wondering, do I need to pick up anything before issue number 1 of DC K.O., at least disregarding the All-In special, this is something that you will want to pick up to understand the intricacies of what the event is going to bring you. This is the main cover by Jorge Fornes, and let's go ahead and scroll through all of the variants that we can see here. This is one by Salvador La Roca. Here is one by Kyo Young Yom, and then a 1 in 25 by Don Aguillo. Not only that, we are going to be, of course, having tie-ins to the event, because what is an event without its appropriate tie-ins? I will say that the one thing that I do appreciate from DC is that we have at least had a 1-year break in between Absolute Power and now, unless you count the We Are Yesterday crossover as a technical event. I personally wouldn't, but nonetheless, we do have tie-ins here, and the first one of which is Justice League Unlimited issue number 12. As the tournament begins, a strange signal is detected by none other than Mr. Terrific, who has been at the forefront of some of these Justice League Unlimited issues. Dan Moore is going to provide the interiors and the main cover. Let's go ahead and scroll through some of the variants. We got one by Derek Chu. We've got one by Nathan Zazerti, featuring Vixen and Starfire. Next, we do have another variant by Jeff Spokes, who was on the Jenny Sparks book with Tom King. And then we have another variant cover here as well. Long live the Legion! That's how the wording goes anyways, right? What is at the heart of Apocalypse? We're going to find out in the 31st issue of Superman, which also has Dan Mora interiors and exteriors as well. Here is the main cover by Dan Mora. Next up, we do have, actually, let me go back to it again. That is gorgeous. Next up, we have a variant cover done by Jorge Fornes, who is applying some of the covers this month overall. David Aja with the extremely awesome negative space, as always. Perfect use of the whites. Next up, we do have an Ariel Olivetti variant. And then lastly, Sebastian Fiumara, who has been doing interiors on Catwoman on and off, at least from the start of All In, with none other than Torun Grombeck. Mark Waid is back on The Flash, this time with Christopher Cantwell joining the fray on the co-writing duties, who also showed up in one of the issues, Cantwell anyways, in the We Are Yesterday crossover. Vasco Georgiev is going to be on the interiors, as Cy Spurrier is leaving the title at issue number 25. Impulse Point does sound pretty fun, and what better way to get back in it than the creator who created Impulse all these years ago Only would have been better if they got Humberto Ramos back on it, but I'll take what I can get. Here is the main cover by Dan Mora. Again, I don't know how the guy does it. Next, we have a variant cover by Vasco Georgiev, and then Mark Spears on another one of these. And lastly, friend of the channel, John Layman, is back on Titans with a tie-in. I might do something about it. We shall see. Pete Woods is back on the interiors. This is where the next Titan storyline is going to jump from. If you have not caught up on Titans, I would advise to do so. There have been a couple of characters who have returned to the mainframe of the Titans, a la Wolfman style, if you may. Here is the look at the main cover, featuring, of course, the main Titans, with Cyborg prominently featured on the top. Next, we have an Apocalypse is Here variant by Brad Walker. Always great to see him doing covers. And then one by Paris Align. All right, moving on to the new number ones and featured series, of which we have a couple. The first one I would like to highlight is Gotham Academy First Year, issue number 1, which is a brand new 6-issue series in the world of Gotham Academy. And Maps, I cannot say their last name, but Maps is one of my favorite characters ever in the last 15 years. And this time we have a continual introduction now this time to the creation of Gotham Academy, with Brandon Fletcher, Carl Kerschel, and Becky Cloonan, with Marco Ferrari in on the illustrations. If you have not gotten a chance to read it yet, I would definitely suggest it. I think it is one of the most adorable and one of the most intriguing young adult centered stories, if you will, if that is your case and demographic. The variant covers that I have shown here, one is by Dustin Nguyen and one is done by Sweeney Boo. So if you have not gotten a chance yet, pick up Gotham Academy. There is a big thick trade paperback there is a big trade paperback of it that is available, and hopefully with this maybe we can get an Omni someday. Next, we have Joker, Harley, Malicious Intent by Kami Garcia, Miko Swayan, and Jason Badower on the interiors. This is the continual magazine-size Black Label series of Joker and Harley, and the sort of investigations with those two. This is $6.99, 44 pages. So if you are interested or have been reading the Joker Harley Quinn Black Label series, this is definitely one that you should pick up. Next up, we got the Superman Red and Blue 2025 special. This is $5.99, $6.99 for the variants. We have specific creators here listed, like Paul Dini, Caitlin Yarsky, Dan Abnett, Mike Walsh, Kian Tormey, Rainbow Rowell, and plenty of other creators. There is a revisiting of a lot of fun here. So if you have read any of these creators, or if you want to give a chance at Michael Walsh, who has done the Silver Coin over at Image Comics, this is definitely one that you should pick up. And then for new number ones, DC is continuing their DC Work in Progress 11x17 giant size format, if you will call it, issue with American Vampire, Stephen King, who helped launch this series with, of course, creator of the series, Scott Snyder, and also creator of the series, Raphael Albuquerque, at $14.99. This is a big one, but if you are a big fan of these so-called artist editions and you want another one in your library, I decided to group all of the Absolute Universe pockets issues, if you will call it, in one specific section of the video. The first one I would like to talk about is Absolute Evil by Al Ewing, Giuseppe Camuncoli, and Stefano Nessi. Coming out on the 1st of October, this is going to investigate the whereabouts of people such as Ra's al Ghul, Veronica Cale, Hector Hammond. Why are they all teaming up, and why are they deciding to do this now? This is a look at what they have been doing for the last overall, who knows. We got Stefano Nessi on the inks and Giuseppe Camuncoli on the pencils. This is a variant cover done by Gerard Perel. And then we have another variant cover done by Riley Rossmo. And then another variant cover. Man, we got a lot of cool variant covers. Wouldn't you agree? This is one by Dustin Nguyen. Absolute Batman is getting an annual. And Daniel Warren Johnson, Eisner Award winning creator, is on that annual, along with, of course, Ultra Mega star James Herron and Meredith McLaren, who I absolutely adore, on the Black Cloak with Kelly Thompson. This is a look at the regular cover, and I want Batman to smash them all into pieces. I think this is going to be fun. Salty is joining. Absolute Batman. No, I'm joking. We got Catwoman, who is joining the fray now with our first look at Absolute Catwoman in issue number 13 of Absolute Batman. Nick Dragotta back on the interiors in this issue. That is all we have, because I am going to assume that they want the rest of the press release for Absolute Catwoman at some point later in the future. There is an Artgerm cover, so I will definitely be buying this issue, as if I already haven't been buying this series for the last year now or so. Well, Absolute Wonder Woman is also continuing as we learn more of the myths of the Amazons from Barbara, oh my goodness, in Gateway City. This is a look at the regular cover by Hayden Sherman. Matthias Bergara, who did the illustrations on Coda, is going to be joining Kelly Thompson on the interiors in this issue. Derek Chu, David Talaski, and Marguerite Savage are going to be doing the variant covers for this issue. Absolute Superman number 12. No one is going to defy the will of Ra's al Ghul if Superman doesn't accept his place as the son of the demon. What's going to happen with Lazarus Corps, and what is going on with Brainiac on the cover of this issue? Rafael Sandoval continues to be on the illustrations. We do have variant covers from none other than Mattia de Ayulis and also Chris Anka. Absolute Flash sees Travis Moore on the fill-ins. He has been fill-in artist extraordinaire on a lot of DC titles that have been written by Mark Waid. Nick Robles continues to be on the covers for this, and the origins of Fort Fox and Barry's experiments are finally revealed, but whatever do they mean for Flash? Here is a look at the variant cover done by Heining. Absolute Green Lantern by Al Ewing and Janoy Lindsay is, oh my goodness, we got a crazy cover. What could this mean? What is Tomar Reed doing here? Here is a look at the variant cover done by none other than Larix. We also, or I should say, Nicholas Draper Ivy. This is the one done by Larix. This is done by Nicholas Draper Ivy. And then here is one done by Torrin Clark, who has been killing it on the Green Arrow covers, if I may. We got a lot to talk about for Batman, and the first one of which, Tim Drake's got a new costume. Tim Drake is going to be continued called Robin, although with the different costume now in style, and Damian also getting a different costume. In Philip Kennedy Johnson's Batman and Robin run, we are going to be seeing what is going on with the Boy Wonder in this specific issue. The main cover by Jorge Jimenez, the variant cover done by Jorge Jimenez. Continuing, we have one by Julian Tutino Tedesco. Michael Allred, of course, doing the best that he does with Laura. Next, we have another variant cover by Jorge Jimenez. This is the Bat Gadget variant cover. And yes, what would it not be without David Aja on the variant cover illustration? Red Hood number 2 sees the New Angelique Police Department seeking Red Hood, at least alive. He might be dead. Who knows? The continuing story between him and Huntress. Dave Johnson is the cover artist here. You still got Jeff Spokes on interiors, Ariel Olivetti in on the variant cover, and then Lee Puppeteer, or Puppeteer Lee, I should say, on the variant here. Nightwing 131. We have more so to speak. If you have not been reading Nightwing, this is definitely one to get into, because we do have one of the main villains that it was introduced in the first arc of Dan Waters' brand new Nightwing run. Night is a changing. This is the main cover by Dexter Soy. We got one by Dustin Nguyen, That's Gorgeous Rain. We got one by Carlo Pagulayan, one of my favorite artists in the industry. And then the final cover by Jorge Fornes. It's actually pretty nice. I might grab that if that it's not an incentive, so I might grab it. Detective Comics 1102 by Tom Taylor. At least that's what was given to us. And Mikhail Yanin. Tom Taylor and Mikhail Yanin continue against a weaponized virus that has somehow infected Batman. Here is a look at the main cover by Mikhail Yanin, who's actually pulling some Gilliam March vibes with this. It feels like a very Gilliam March vibe cover anyways. Here is a look at one of the variant covers by David Patori. And then, what's Batman looking at in this one with Jim Gordon? Catwoman, issue number 80, Tarun Grombeck and Danilo Beyruth continuing. This is the infiltration of the auction hosted by one of the most dangerous criminals. Who is behind that auction? Here is the main cover by Sebastian Fiumara, who I mentioned earlier. Frank Cho continuing his variant cover run for Catwoman. Next, we have a Derek Chu variant. And then W. Scott Forbes is on the last one. Harley Quinn by Elliot Kalan, this time joined by Carlos Olivares. This is a Harley Quinn promise to get out of whatever she might be involved in. That's a great cover by Yannick Paquette featuring Fire and Ice. So Fire and Ice are probably going to make their debut here. We have one by David Nakayama. We have a variant cover done by Mahmoud Asrar, which actually that background kind of looks Jay Anacleto-y, and I won't lie. And then a variant cover done again by TK. Poison Ivy, issue number 37 by G. Willow Wilson and Marcio Takara. This is Poison Ivy traveling back to Gotham City and Batman showing up because, of course, he does. Here's the main cover by Jessica Fong, and then we also have variant covers done as well. Poison Ivy 2025 annual with art by Fable's co-creator, Mark Buckingham. Yes, the Mark Buckingham is going to be on a Poison Ivy book in the year 2025. What a time to be alive. That's a pretty good one. Main cover, we got one by Nathan Zazerti. We actually flip back to the main cover so if we all can see. And then the last one here is done by Jay Lee. Very different style for Jay Lee. All right, Birds of Prey, issue number 26. The Birds of Prey are not going away, trying to prevent the Shadow Army's latest plan in a bustling Gotham. They're going to be giving a new meaning to the word undercover inside a game called The Unreality with an ally that they possibly cannot trust at their side. This is the main cover by Annie Wu. We got variant covers here from Christian Ward. That is none other than Serge Acuna. And then K.O. Young Uom for the last one. And then we still got Batgirl issue number 12, which is now her going to bring up into the speedings with Nissa Al Ghul. So Cassandra Cain and Nissa Al Ghul are going to be part of a crime caper in issue number 12 of Batgirl. Again, here is the main cover, and then here is the variant cover from Maria Gonzalez. Philip Kennedy Johnson is now going to have Tony S. Daniel as the main cover artist specifically for this part of the book, and I'm only going to assume the reason why is because he got pulled away. Actually, no, he did get pulled away for DC K.O. Fico Ossio is going to be the artist. He filled in pretty spectacularly, I thought anyways, during the Memento storyline, and now they're getting back here with the mysterious Quiet Man. Here is a look at the main cover by Tony S. Daniel and colorist Romulo Fajardo Jr. Gilliam March with a Robin hoodie cover. Next, we do have one by Clayton Crane. Always interesting to see him back on. And then Ashley Wood in on one of the variants as well. And then I am actually going to be pretty sad that two of my favorite Batman series are ending. The first one of which is Batman and Robin Year 1 by Chris Samnee. And of course, Mark Waid. The Fates of Gotham hangs into balance as we head in for the final issue. Here is a Jamal Campbell with an amazing variant cover. And yes, this is definitely going to be one that I'm going to be missing for sure, but I can't wait to have this all in absolute or deluxe or whatever oversized formats. I will happily double dip on this book. And another one that I'll actually be happy to double dip on is Batman Dark Patterns, which is still one of the most, I think, underrated books in the industry. We got Case 4 continuing on with its second part as we figure out who the arsonist is. Here is a look at the main cover, and then here is a look at Martin Simmons on the variant. Let's turn our heads to the Superman and Justice League parts of the DC Universe, the first one of which is issue 1091 of Action Comics by Mark Waid. Skylar Patridge, Superboy, is going to have to learn what it really means to be a hero. We already have seen this cover, but just to flip through and be sure, we got the variant cover by Joe Quinones. This is by Michael Cho. Skylar Patridge. All right, Batman Superman World's Finest. This time Lucas Mayer is doing the illustrations on this book. I love this cover. This is one done by Adrian Gutierrez. Jorge Fornes is the artist for this cover, and then a very cute cover done by Lucas Mayer. That actually is... Actually, is pretty darling. I'll give him that. Road tripping edition for those two. This time we have Kara in regular set time continuity, if you will call it, as this is the last of Art Germ's covers for Supergirl, but Sophie Campbell is not leaving anytime soon as Halloween is just right around the corner with Night Flame. This is a look at the main cover from Sophie Campbell. Art Germ with the last of his 6. Another cover done in by Ben Harvey. And then Paulina Please I do not want to butcher the last name. Crypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, the last of the 5 issues by Mike Norton and Ryan North, as Crypto has finally made his way back to Kansas. Can a dog fly with this one? Here is a look at the variant cover done by David Talaski, again, one by Jay Lee. We're going to turn our heads to Superman Unlimited issue number 6 with Dan Slott and Raphael Albuquerque, continuing on the Cobra Cult. Who would have known that the Cobra Cult were featured pretty prominently in the 90s, 80s, 90s. We'll be back in session. We got a couple of variant covers here as I scroll through along. Feel free to stop. We got one by Thiago da Silva. We got one by Gellum March. We got one by Mark Spears again with Lex Luthor. We got pretty much the whole case here. Also continuing is the Book of L, which is the Adventures of Superman book by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Scott Godlewski, continuing his far-flung future presentation. You got one cover here by Serge Acuna. Continuing on, we have another Riccardo Federici book. Where did I go? I Want More Last God. And then lyrics on one of the variants. Would not be remiss if I didn't get an opportunity to show you this amazing cover by Wonder Woman. What is going on there with the Society? Sam Pierre, of course. Rod Reyes doing a DC variant is awesome. And then David Nakayama, of course. Trinity is also continuing. You got issue 5 of 6 with the Corgi story. Is that what you even want to figure out? You got the Super Corgi. Justice League Red, Clayton Henry. This is an unfinished cover anyways, but this time we still have Simon Baz, Power Girl, and Cyborg having decided to trust Red Tornado just a little bit longer. What does the Church of Blood have to do with all of this? Here again is the main cover by Clayton Henry. There's a look at the variant cover done by Juan Ferreira and then Cully Hamner on the variant. Mr. Terrific Year 1 also sees it ending with Al Letson and Valentin Delandro. We got an awesome cover here by Valentin Delandro. You might know from Bitch Planet, and then a main cover here by Karen S. Darbo. New Gods. Dennis Cowan, one of the main people in charge of Milestone, is back on this issue. We got the main cover done here by Nimit Malavia. This is the one by Dennis Cowan, and then Anand Ramcharan is going to be on this variant. Aquaman issue number 10. You got Cursed Treasure. You got Ghost Pirates. You got John Timms. You've got none other than Gellum March back. That is a nice Gellum March cover, I will say. JSA issue number 12. We don't have the main cover by Leo Romero yet, but we do have one by Jorge Corona, so we have to figure out who the nameless ones are. We don't have a cover attached to that yet. Continuing on, we do have issue number 29 of Green Arrow with Montas on the art, continuing with the truth of the Crimson Archer's identity and his plans for Star City. What is going to happen with that? Next, we do have V. Ken Marion still joining in on the fun with a new page discovering the Book of Oa that says only 2 words. What are the ramifications of this? This is a nice cover from Zermanico. I'm not even going to lie. You have a very cute cover here. I believe that was by Rock Galin. You have another cover here by David Pittori and one from Diwali. Green Lantern Corps issue number 9 also sees that the lanterns are lit. The Starbreakers have arrived. The final installment of the Starbreaker Supremacy brings our heroes to a lightning blow. This is the main cover by Fernando Pasarin. Here is a look at a couple of variants here. Lucas Mayer. You also have one done by Scott Godlewski. We don't have one from Rian Gonzalez yet, but this is very nice. And then we have a couple of Black Label issues to talk about. It is just issue number 3 of the Kryptonite Spectrum from the Ice Cream Man team, this time featuring the Captain, Billy Batson. And you have one by Neiman Malavia, and then a variant cover, I should say, by Juan Ferreira. If you haven't yet, check out our website, comicreleases.com, my and Webhead's love letter to comics, a hotspot where you can finally figure out what's coming out, when, from what place. Our unique upcoming website tracker in the Collected Editions tab makes sure that you're on top of every single collected edition coming out on the market, with release date updates to the minute, from the tiniest graphic novels to the giant Generator Deluxe hardcovers as large as an absolute. Our unique spreadsheet not only gives out the most accurate information out there, but our format also filters and ensure that you can find your books as quickly as possible. The tracker also gives out links to domestic and international retailers so that you can purchase your comic books
at the snap of a finger. We are also proud to host monthly solicitations as per given by the publishers that generously send us information to give to you all. From the Ultimate Universe to the creator-loved oceans and universes, we specialize in giving you the most readable format of solicitations without any of the annoying advertisements. If you also donate to our Patreon at just $2 a month, which is less than a coffee at Starbucks, you will receive access to a special watch list dedicated to individually tracking items that are on your wish list, past or present. Place in your tracking number and make sure that these books also not only come in safe, you can even put in special comments on these as well. On top of that, your name will also show up at the end of every single Dom of X video creates as a huge thank you. That is comicreleases.com. For more information, check this out down in the description. If you also want to contact me or Webhead, check the contact forms down in the description or email me down in the description.
But that is it. All of the documentation can be found down below. If you are looking to pick up any of these issues, let me know down in the comment section below. Let me also know if you are excited for DC K.O. just as much as I am. I know I cannot wait for Absolute Evil issue number 1. But that's going to be it for me. I'm Dom of X. Please stay safe, everybody, and have a wonderful day wherever you are.